Welcome to exercise 4. As a quick recap, exercises 1, 2, and 3 were really about functionality of Pro Tools using the internal renderer. Now it's time to actually mix and have some fun. In order to do that, we need to pay attention to the loudness levels that are necessary to meet specifications for Dolby Atmos. There's more information about this in our curriculum online at learning.dolby.com. If you are utilizing the internal renderer inside Pro Tools, you need to have a loudness metering plugin available to you. Reminder from a previous exercise, I'm using Nugent Viz LM. There are free trials of this available online. If you do not have a metering plugin available to you, or your trial timed out and you're trying to do this exercise, I would recommend looking to the external renderer exercises that we have. The Dolby Atmos external renderer has all of the metering built into the application. The session that you'll be using for this is titled Dolby Atmos Music Exercise 95 BPM, internal renderer not mixed. The session when you open it will look the same as I have here, except for the fact that I've already pre-populated a master fader, a loudness re-render, and a headphone re-render. If you remember in exercises 1 and 2 talking about setup, we talked about setting up these tracks. So if you need to learn how to set these up again, please refer to exercises 1 and 2. To recap, I've got the master fader assigned to my renderer output. I have my loudness re-render assigned to a dead end bus, and my headphone right now assigned to a dead end bus as well. If you remember from those previous exercises, if you have audio outputs available, you could actually monitor this binaural re-render off of those outputs. So the purpose of this is to, again, mix. I'm not going to get into the creative side of Dolby Atmos. I am just going to show you how to set up groups and VCAs so that you can actually control your loudness as you are mixing, which is super important with Dolby Atmos. Otherwise, you run the chance of not meeting specifications and mixes being rejected and sent back to you. So please study up on how to meet those loudness targets. I'm going to start by selecting the last track here, which is called FX Blop. And I'm going to go to track new or Shift Command N. And I'm going to create 6 VCA tracks. So I'm going to select VCA and make that 6. And then I'm going to name these like you will see in the PDF. So the first one is going to be master. Next one is going to be drum master. Next one is going to be bass master. Perk master. Bells master. And FX master. And so your VCAs should look as so. Again, if you need to go back and see what these are titled, you can look here in the video, or you can go back to the PDF that you downloaded and you can see how to name all those tracks. So now that I've got my VCAs created, I have to make some groups to assign tracks and groups to those VCA masters. So I'm going to do that by either going over here to my groups menu and selecting new group, or I can hit Command G, whichever one you choose. I'm going to name my first group drums. And I'm going to assign the VCA for the drum master. I'm then going to remove all of these VCAs from this group. And I'm going to add the kick, snare, hat, crashes, and ride over into that group and click OK. Next group I'm going to create, again, Command G, or going to the menu, is I'm going to create the bass group and select the bass VCA master. Remove all these and grab my synth bass and my pulse bass 1 and 2 and put that in the bass group. And again, if you need to follow along, if this is moving a bit too quickly, the PDF will show you all of these steps. The next group that I'm going to create is going to be the perk master. And I'll be sure to assign the correct VCA to that. Do the same steps, remove all these VCAs from this group. And then I will go in and I will add the shaker. Next, I'll go over and make the bells group. And add Outland bells. my effects group. And last but not least, I will then need a master to control everything. So now that I have all these VCAs created, you should see these appear in the groups window, and they'll match, the VCAs that you have up top. And so if I were to solo up, let's say the drum kit, for instance, now, and I play that back, you'll see that that's actually hitting the drum master here. And if I grab the volume for that drum master and turn that down, you'll see that that goes away. So that controls all of the different drums. So this is a way that you can actually control your levels going to your final Dolby Atmos mix. And again, ensure you're hitting those target levels is by assigning your different instrument groups into different VCAs to be able to control those levels. Again, I'm not going to mix in this session. That is completely up to you. So I would turn on your automation here, which is if you go to Window, Automation, you want to make sure that the following is enabled. Object bus can also be enabled as well if you're switching instruments between objects and buses, but for the most part, you need to make sure that the panning, volume, etc. is all automated or enabled for automation. And have fun mixing. Make sure you go in and create some reverb sends, add those to the mix. There are also additional MIDI files that are in this package that you downloaded. So what you could do is you could create a stereo instrument track, for instance. And when you do that, you could choose a virtual instrument. And then you can grab the MIDI track and drag it into Pro Tools and lay it on the track there. And the MIDI track is actually an export of one of these other instrument tracks, so it'll play the grand piano along with the track as well. So you can add instruments to this, mix it, etc. And then going back to exercise 3, you can make an ADM of the file when you're done. And this should complete the full circle of how to mix in Dolby Atmos with the Pro Tools internal renderer. That's it for now. For further exploration, go into the external renderer exercises, and there's lots of different options there, including utilizing the Dolby Atmos music panner and ways to operate with the external Dolby Atmos renderer and some options that might not be available in the internal Pro Tools renderer at the moment.